Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our new series of webinars where we show you what's new on our Collective Minds platform. And today we'll be focusing on our most recent releases on our research platform. So thank you for everyone that's joined. And my name is Dan. I'm a product specialist at Collective Minds, and I'm joined by my two colleagues, Maria and Ellie, who will introduce themselves shortly. So those of you who are unfamiliar with Collective Minds, we're a Swedish health tech company. We offer a cloud-based platform with solutions designed for medical imaging, research, and education. So the research project that we'll be looking in today is a centralized platform made to simplify and accelerate your medical imaging research process. So we ensure secure, compliant data sharing for multi-center imaging studies, from uploads to imaging endpoints. The research workspace is also equipped with a clinical grade DICOM viewer, electronic CRFs, role-based access control, a full audit trail, and a powerful API for seamless integration with systems like EDCs and AI engines. The projects on the platform are organized into a pipeline structure of role-based events. So it also has a custom trail logic to manage imaging workflows, including QC, expert reviews, and segmentations. All of these features, what we've found, have significantly reduced the administration and has given more time back to actually focus on the research project itself. So today we'll be looking at two brand new features which have been released with our most recent update, 1.12. And Maria will be demonstrating the feature, and Ellie will dive into some background and give some examples of how this will further improve your workflow of your research study. Please feel free at any point to drop any questions in the Q&A box, and we'll be sure to address those at the end. And yeah, with no further ado, I'll pass you over to Maria.
Thank you so much, Dan. Hi, everyone. I'm Maria. I'm a product specialist here at Collective Minds, and I help customers to get started with their projects, both for their research projects, but also for their education initiatives on the platform. So today I'm going to show you the updates from 1.12, which has two major new features on the research platform. And that is the screening reports and the enhanced member insights. And during today's webinar, we will walk you through these new features, how it can be used, and how it can benefit your workflow. So starting with the screening reports. What is a screening report? Well, the screening report is an update with a new module that you can use inside your research pipeline. The screening report module allows you to set certain time points in each subject's pipeline, where a screening report with results to date will be automatically created with just one click. And this report can then be set to go out to specific receivers or approvers via email, making it easier than ever to stay up to date with the results in real time to make decisions on how to move forward with each subject. So let's have a look on how it looks on the platform. So I hope you can all see my screen. And I'm going to start in the repository view. And for those of you already using Collective Minds, you probably know the repository view very well. But for those of you seeing this the first time, this is the area where you can gather all your research projects on your Collective Minds repository. And in this repository, which is an example, I have set up 3 different projects. In the repository view, except for creating projects, I can also manage them, and I can manage who is able to access my repository. I can give them certain roles with different access. Enter sites, create forms such as eCRFs, and of course have a comprehensive audit log so I can see everything that happens inside my repository. Today, I'm gonna look into this example project to show you the screening reports. So going into the actual project, we move from the repository view to the project view. And in the project, there's a bunch of different stuff I can do. The first page where I land is the pipeline view. And in the pipeline view, I can see each subject in my study and the progress of each subject. And I will dive a little bit deeper into this quite soon. I also want to mention that you as a project owner, of course, can manage the members, sites, subjects, and also the reports, of course, that I will jump into quite soon. But going back to the pipeline view, this is where I see each subject and the progress for each subject. And in this example, I have set up 3 subjects in my pipeline. I can see that I have a few different events for each subject. So for this example, I have an upload event, I have a QC event, I have 3 reader events where I have also entered some eCRFs for each reader to fill out. And lastly, a screening report. Each green box indicates that the event is completed. The red one means that it's been rejected, and the yellow one means that something needs to be reapplied. Now, in my screening report, which is the new feature, I want to include the data from reader 1, reader 2, and reader 3 to create a report that instantly can go out to the receivers I choose in the project. So let's go backstage and see how it looks like when you set up this in your pipeline. So I will go to Edit Pipeline to have a deeper look. When I go to Edit Pipeline, this is where I can edit everything for each subject in the pipeline to see each steps in the subject's journey. So as I already explained, I have the upload event, which I have set to the certain role uploader, the QC event, simultaneously reader events for 3 different roles, and lastly, the screening report. And as mentioned before, the reader assignments also have included a eCRF, and I want to include this data in my screening report. So if I go into Configure, I can now choose what to include in this report. So let's have a look. Inside this module, I have now selected a screening report. I dragged it over here, and I can change the settings of it. Clicking it, I get the properties of it where I can choose everything that should be included in each report. First of all, you choose a title, of course, and you can describe what this report will include. So for this one, I wanted the data from the readers 1, 2, 3 to be included in the screening report for each subject when we come to that time point. Next, I need to choose what I want to include in this report. So I select this button right here, and then I get all the data upstream in the pipeline. So you remember I had the upload event, I had the QC, I had the reader event. All of this is in here, and I'm able to select that if I want to include it. But I don't want to include everything, I just want to include certain tasks. So if I want to filter it to make it a little bit easier, I go to Select Event, and I can simply choose that right now I just want to look at the data from reader 1. So here I see that I can choose the data from the form, which is included in the reader task, and I want to include these 3 questions. So I have already selected this. Next, going to reader 2, I do the same thing, and the same thing for reader 3. I can also select the alias, so what do I want it to say in the actual report. So I actually renamed from the variable name to another alias that I think is more simple to read. Now that I'm happy with selecting all the fields that I want to include in the report, I can reorder all the events. So I go up here to reorder. And here I can still change the alias, but I can also reorder the different events. So I'm quite happy with this selection. Next, I want to choose the status of this report. So when this event is signed, do I want it to be a draft so I can still make some changes? Do I want to have it submitted, or do I want it to be automatically approved? For this one, I'm going to choose draft. Next, I can also choose who should receive the report. Either it can be specific members in the project, or it can be roles. So for example, if multiple people have the same role and I choose roles, both of them will receive the report. Next, I can also choose approvals. Should it be a role or a specific member? And when I'm happy, I just configure it. Great. Going back to the pipeline, we see my 3 subjects and the status of all of them. And now I want to sign this screening report since I have all the data up to this point, and I want the report to be created. And as I have already configured the screening module, I can simply just go in, run the event. It will bring all the data to me in this event. So I can see a preview of all of the filled in events here. And when I'm happy, I just select sign. So with just a few clicks, I have now created a screening report for this subject. If I would like to do the same thing for the next subject, I would easily just go in here and sign that one as well. So at this point in time, an email should go out to the receivers and they get notified that a new report is available on the platform. So to find that report, you simply go to reports down here to find all the reports. Here I have already included 2 earlier ones, so I could show you the different status of the reports. So as mentioned, a report can be approved, submitted, or draft. So these 2 ones were already there from before. And this is the new one that I just created. And how do I know that? Well, the report name. The report name will always be screening report, the subject name, and which version of it is. And as you saw, I selected by default that the screening report should be draft, as this one is. So as it's still a draft, I can still go in and make some changes. So for example, in this report, I might want to include a PDF for some additional material that I can just drag in here to have together with the report data. I can also export the results right here. When I'm happy, I simply submit. I still have the approving roles ready. I submit it and the report is now ready for approval. So you see that the status has now changed. So next, the one who's chosen to be the approver can go in and approve the report, and then the report is there. You can, of course, filter on the status of a report or report name. So if you know you're looking for a specific report, you can easily go in and search for it right here. So that's the basic of the new feature screening reports. I hope you like the small demo, and I will hand over the word back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Maria, for walking us through that. I think a lot of users will find this quite intuitive, and especially how it brings sort of key insights together in one place. So over to Ellie. Ellie, I would really, and I'm sure our listeners here would like to know the background of this update. Why was this in this new release, and a bit of background as to what users have struggled in the past and how we're going to be using this feature to overcome some of their issues.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, and I do software quality assurance here at Collective Minds. Okay, so the background. Um, Reports was originally made with the intention of sharing data for multiple subjects at the time, and it works with another feature that's called results. What was happening was that users were creating a workaround to create a result for one subject, and then they were creating a report, so they were doing multiple steps. And the idea was that, okay, we know that they want to create reports for a single subject, so what we did was create this screening module that you put in an event. And once you create this event with the screening module, it propagates to all your subjects. So what you have to do is, as we saw with Maria, you configure it once, you put the information you know you want from this subject, and then after you run it, you already have the report for this specific subject with the information that you chose and that reaches the people that you want. Instead of going through creating a result, then filtering by subject, then creating a report, then associating the results. So it's a workflow that users were already making, but we can then send in a much easier way.
Just a quick question for me. So, in the screening report, can you have multiple screening reports for one event?
Yeah, that's correct. You can have as many as you like. And what's very interesting is that for each module that you create, you can configure it to show different data so that your receivers or your approvals are different people or different roles. And what will happen is that once you sign the event that contains these multiple modules, as many modules as you had will be the same amount of reports created. So if you had 3 screening modules, you will get 3 reports. And you can also configure the status independently. So maybe you know you want one to be auto-proof, but you know another one requires some QC, some approval. So you put it in submitted. So yeah, that's also a thing you can do.
Brilliant, brilliant. Just one question here that we've got. What are the exporting methods for the screening report?
Okay, so besides being able to look at the information that you chose in the web page in Collective Minds, you can also, once you go inside the report, there is an option to export it as a CSV. So you can also do that, and maybe you can share this with your team internally. You also have this other option.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ellie. So let's move on to the second new feature, which is the members insight. So I'll hand you over back to Maria, and she will go through that in a short demo.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Ellie. Yes, so let's move on to the next update in 1.12, which is the enhanced member insights. So I will go ahead and share my screen again. Great. And now we are back in the repository view again. So not inside a specific project, but we're inside our repository. So as you remember, I said that you can manage the members inside your repository. And this is something that you could do previously as well. But there are some updates that we're going to share with you now, which is new for the 1.12 update. So in my repository, I can see now that I have 4 members. We have one member that has a role inside the repository, and the other members are simply inside the different projects. So the first thing that's new here is that we have this activity popover. So if I hover over one of the members, I can now see when was this member added to this repository, when was the member approved, and when was the activation done for this member. If a member has been deactivated, this will also show up, and also if a member has been reactivated. So in this update, we now have some more insights on each member, some more data that we can use. Another thing that's new is that you now also can see the associated projects for each member. So for example, we can see that Dan here is a member of the Pirates project. Ellie is also a member of the Pirates project, whereas myself is a member of 3 projects in this repository: the Pirates one, the Dental one, and the Fracture one. And from this view, I can actually jump straight to a project by just clicking the button right here. In this view, you can also now export the data of the members to a CSV file. So this is good for internal documentation or for auditing purposes. So you have all the data on each member and you can export it easily. Now, this is what's new inside the repository view for the member insights. And now I quickly want to jump to one of the projects. So I'm going to choose the Pirates project again. So this time I can simply just click this button right here and it will actually take me to that project, so I don't have to take the other way. So now you can see I'm back in the Pirates project. I'm back with the pipeline view where I was before when I showed the screening report. I'm now gonna go over to the members screen right here for this particular project. And there are some new things in here as well. So just as with the repository view, we have the same activity pop over here, so I can see the initial activation, when was this member added and approved. In this view, I also, as the project owner or the one who has the permissions to see the member view, I can see when this user was last logged in. So that's also good to keep track of the members to see if they're active in the project, for example. And in here, I can also, of course, export the data to get it to a CSV file for internal documentation or auditing purposes, for example. So that's the main new things with the member insights. An easier way to keep track of everyone who has access to the repository, to your research project, what they can do, etc., and when they were last active. So I'm going to give the word back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, that definitely adds another layer to understanding and sort of tracking your data. So that's definitely great to see. Back over to you, Ellie. And again, the same question. Why was this feature in this new update, and what issues did we have before that now will be resolved by this?
Okay, so as Maria mentioned, we have an audit log and we keep track of all the things that we do inside of it. So we already had all this information when the members were invited, when they were approved, but you had to go sort of like digging, and you had to know where you were digging. So you had to go to the audit log and you had to know, for example, the name of the event that it's recorded. So you could go and look, and you had to use the filters. So again, you had all this information, but you had to take several steps to get to it. So what we did here is we took the very specific information that's important related to members, and we put this on this model that now you can see. And it's much easier to just go over the member that you are interested in and see the information, and that's it. And also you can export this information, just information regarding members, from the member screen as well.
And Ellie, can you export just a portion of the members if you wanted to?
Yeah, actually, I feel like I'm going to give you like a pro tip. Yes, if you use the filters, for example, you want just to export a list of members that belong to a site, you filter by site, and when you click on the export button, you will have that list only. Or maybe you want to export a list of people that have the image analyst role in your project. So again, you just filter, click export, and the CSV that you're going to get, it's already filtered by these things that you applied.
Brilliant. And Ellie, is there a maximum number of projects that each member can be a part of?
Not at all. They can be as part of as many projects you have in your repository. Maybe what will happen if you go to the members page and they are part of a lot of repositories, you will see that instead of presenting all of the project names, you will have an icon that has an ellipsis button, like dot dot dot. And if you click on that, then you will get the complete list that will be displayed. So we still keep things looking very nice, but they can be as part of as many projects as you have on your repository.
Thank you so much, Ellie. So that concludes the two new features. Thank you everyone for joining, and we hope you found this useful and have a better idea of how you can further accelerate your research projects. So stay tuned. This is one of many upcoming releases and similar webinars as well. So the screening report and the member insights, which you saw today, are just two of the new major features, but there is some additional enhancements with their 1.12 update. So if you are interested, do reach out. Those of you who are new to the platform and just want to book a demo with us, I'm going to be posting a link in the chat. Please feel free to just book a demo with us, and we can dive even deeper into the platform. But yeah, I'd like to thank everyone again for joining. Thank you, Maria and Ellie, and we'll hopefully see you next time.